What is going on, guys? It's your boy Deathgun with another Monster Hunter World video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys my Bazel Varga Rookslayer build. It is an amazing longsword build focused around explosions. All kinds of explosions. So without further ado, let's take a look at what this build is all about. First off, obviously we have the Bazel Varga Rookslayer, an amazing sword that not only gives you 2 slots but 1 slot into augmentation. Great blast damage, great damage, and the possibility to bring it up to white sharpness. Mine is not augmented, but if you're going to augment, I highly advise affinity. For our helmet, we have an amazing headpiece, the Dragon King eye patch, giving us 2 points into weakness exploit and a level 3 slot. For our chest, we have the Zora Magdaros chest, giving us a level 2 slot, 2 points into blast attack, and 1 point into our Zora Magdaros mastery. For our arms, we have the Valhasak Braces B, mainly for the 3 slots. Peak performance is good, but that's the only real reason. For our waist, we have the Zora Spine B, giving us a level 2 slot, 1 point into Fortify, and 1 point into our Zora Magdaros Mastery. And to finish off our Zora Magdaros Mastery, we have our boots, which give us 2 points into Bombardier and a level 2 slot. Now here's where things get a little more interesting. You want to carry the Apothecary Mantle. The reason being is that it increases the probability of triggering status buildup when attacking with a weapon that induces abnormal statuses. In our case, Blast, which works really well with the Bazel Varga as well as the Zora Magdaros Mastery, overall making this build and setup work a lot better. Now let's take a look at our skills. First off, we have the Zora Magdaros Mastery, which increases abnormal status effect damage, mainly our blast when landing critical hits. Now we have attack boost level 4, which gives us plus 12 attack and plus 5% affinity. We also have critical eye level 3 for 10% more affinity, and weakness exploit level 3 that gives you 50% more affinity when you attack weak points. We have Bombardier, which makes it so explosive items deal more damage, and blast attack level 2, which not only gives you more blast damage but also 10% more blast buildup. We have handicraft level 1, seeing as that's all we need to get it to white sharpness, guys. It is very important. We have peak performance because, well, it just comes along with the set. Fortify helps as well, it just comes along, but if you happen to die, it does provide some good defense and offensive bonuses. Mind's Eye is a really important jewel because these weapons, mainly the ones with blast damage, tend to bounce a lot, and you do not want your weapons to bounce since you want to build up your blast damage. So this jewel helps out a lot, making it so even if you're not hitting full damage, you're building up that blast damage. And protective polish, last but not least, keeping that white sharpness, seeing as we don't really have much. And it's really important to make this build all flow together and work really well, guys. But that's enough of that. Now let's go into actual decorations, seeing as they're not really hard to get. First off, we have the attack jewel level 1 and a bomber jewel level 1. Pretty simple, but it rounds out our set pretty well. After that, we have our handicraft jewel level 3, which is slotted in our helmet with that nice level 3 slot. In our chest, we have a tenderizer jewel level 2 to finish off our weakness exploit. And in our hands, like I told you guys, we're mainly going for those 3 slots. We're slotting in 3 expert jewels. In our waist, we're taking advantage of the level 2 slot with the Mind's Eye jewel. Very important for our build, and even though it's not necessary, it's very nice. And last but not least, the cream of the crop, the sharp jewel. This makes it so our build deals tons of damage and not only focuses around blast, but also our base damage. But now let's test out the numbers. I'm going to be showing you guys how it works and what numbers it builds up as it gets to white gauge, yellow gauge, and red gauge. And after that, we're going to be looking at the numbers of our actual Spirit Helm Breaker in all 3 of these, red, yellow, and white gauge. Keep in mind that here in the training room, you do not get to see the explosive damage or elemental damage, to be more precise. So we're just going off base damage, and that's one thing I want to show you guys, how even though it's mainly a status weapon, it still allows you to deal a really good amount of damage. So here we have red gauge. The max damage is 94. Keep in mind we are not buff while doing all of this, and we're still dealing pretty good damage. When we hit yellow gauge, we're hitting tops 52. And last but not least is white gauge, which, as we know, you never want to hit a Spirit Helmbreaker in white gauge. But if you want to see the numbers, it's 33 for our max number. Now let's take a look at something a little more interesting. I want to show you guys the effects of this blade in actual combat. if you've ever thought that the longsword is only meant to cut tails, or you thought, hey, how can I cut those Diablo's horn, or how can I get some parts or break more parts than I usually should? Well, this is the build for you. With this build, you will always leave your matches with your monsters either without horns, without tails, all their parts broken, and you'll get tons of rewards. So overall, it's an amazing longsword build without having to rely on switching up weapons to a hammer, or maybe a weapon that's more focused around breaking parts. This build allows you to really maneuver around a match, deal great damage, and not only rely on your status buildup or blast. It allows you to still deal great damage even without the Apothecary Mantle or even the Affinity Booster. But that's where it shines. So if you've enjoyed this video, guys, I would really appreciate it if you smash that like button, you subscribe. If you have time, check out my Facebook, and make sure you're in the notification squad by hitting that bell down below. That's about it. If you guys want me to do a specific video, make sure to let me know in the comment section below. For now, your boy Deathgun out. Hey, I bet you weren't expecting to hear me again. For those of you that made it all the way out here, I want to give you a quick tip. I don't really use it all the time, but it's pretty cool. Feline Specialist increases the potency of abnormal status attacks, overall helping you do even more damage with your blast attacks, so make sure to check it out.